how this Trump 2024 win could rock Jamaica, what Jamaicans at home and abroad need to know. Picture this. The recent election could alter the lives of Jamaicans in the U.S. and even impact the economy, social systems, and everyday life in Jamaica itself. With Trump returning to the White House, there's a lot at stake. From immigration laws and economic ties to social policies and international alliances. Stay with us as we unpack how Trump's win could impact Jamaica in ways many may not expect. Hello everyone, I am Brian James. Welcome back to Trendwave News TV. In today's report, we'll dive deep into what Trump's recent victory could mean for Jamaica and the Jamaican diaspora, particularly those in the U.S. We'll discuss everything from the possible impacts on immigration and remittances to Jamaica's economy, foreign relations, and even local social issues. With so much at stake, this is information every Jamaican, whether at home or abroad, should understand. By the end of this report, you'll have the full picture of what could be on the horizon, so stick around. Let's discuss Trump's immigration policies and how they might affect Jamaicans both in the yard and in the diaspora. As we begin with immigration, which one of the most immediate areas likely to change under a Trump presidency. Here's what this could look like for Jamaicans in the U.S. and how it could ripple back to the island. There will be increased deportations. Trump has vowed to launch the largest deportation program in America's history, which could lead to a surge in deportations of Jamaican nationals. This will not only affect individuals, but could bring social and economic strain as families are torn apart and returning Jamaicans try to reintegrate. The cost of reintegration could fall on Jamaica's social services, which are already under pressure. Consider the impact on families who rely on remittances from the U.S. If deportations go up, thousands of Jamaican households could lose a crucial income source. Trump's immigration policies could also tighter visa regulations. Trump's policies might make it harder for Jamaicans to obtain work visas or permanent residency in the U.S. This could impact skilled professionals looking to work abroad, as well as students hoping to study in the U.S. Picture a young Jamaican hoping to study engineering or medicine in the U.S. With tighter restrictions, students like this might struggle to obtain visas, missing valuable educational and career opportunities. This could ultimately impact the availability of certain skills within Jamaica's workforce. What are the possible impacts on trade and Jamaica's economy? Under Trump's America First approach, Jamaica's trade relationship with the U.S. could face new challenges. These challenges could include potential tariffs and export costs. Jamaica relies heavily on exports like coffee, rum, and bauxite, much of which goes to the U.S. If Trump imposes tariffs on these goods, prices could rise, reducing demand in the U.S. market and hurting Jamaica's export revenue. This would not only impact big industries but also smaller farmers and local businesses that rely on trade income. In 2022, Jamaican exports to the U.S. totaled nearly $600 million. Even a 10% decrease in exports would represent a loss of $60 million, affecting workers across the industry. Then there could also be some effect on tourism. The U.S. accounts for around 65% of all tourists to Jamaica. If new policies discourage Americans from traveling abroad or reduce disposable income, Jamaica could see a decline in visitors, which would impact local jobs and businesses across the tourism sector. A 15% decrease in U.S. tourism could mean thousands of job losses across Jamaica's hotels, restaurants, and local businesses that rely on tourist dollars. This might also result in foreign aid and public funding cuts. Trump has consistently aimed to reduce U.S. foreign aid, which could directly impact Jamaica's social programs and development projects. Health and education programs might also be affected. Foreign aid supports health services, educational programs, and other social initiatives across Jamaica. Programs like USAID fund local clinics, school resources, and even disaster relief. Cuts in these areas would strain Jamaica's already tight budget, potentially reducing the reach of health and education initiatives. What are real-life impact that we could see? If Jamaica loses just $10 million in aid, this could mean fewer resources for hospitals, potentially affecting the availability of essential services and medications. Impact number 1: climate change adaptation. The U.S. is one of the leading supporters of climate change adaptation projects in the Caribbean. With Trump's previous focus on reducing climate funding and promoting fossil fuels, a second Trump term might mean fewer resources to combat rising sea levels and other climate-related threats in Jamaica. Impact number 2: diplomatic and geopolitical shifts in the Caribbean. A Trump-led U.S. administration could likely mean less direct involvement in the Caribbean, creating a vacuum that other countries, particularly China, might fill. Which leads us to impact number 3. China's rising influence. While Chinese investment in Jamaica has brought benefits, such as infrastructure development, it also comes with its own complexities. Jamaica may find itself increasingly dependent on China's economic support, potentially risking its autonomy and making it vulnerable to political pressures. For example, if Jamaica relies on China for infrastructure and trade, it might feel pressured to align with Chinese foreign policy positions, which could complicate Jamaica's relationships with other nations. Impact number 3. Pressure on political alignment. Trump has a record of using foreign aid to influence voting patterns in the United Nations. Jamaica may face new pressures to align its positions with U.S. policy goals, which could strain its relationships with other regional partners. Impact number 4. The effects on LGBTQ+ rights and social progress. The U.S. has historically served as a vocal advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, which influences social progress in countries with conservative values, including Jamaica. This could also reduce pressure for social change. If the U.S. adopts a less proactive stance on LGBTQ+ rights under Trump, Jamaica might see less international pressure to advance rights and protections for minority groups. This could slow social progress in areas like equality and human rights. How do you feel about this potential shift? Should Jamaica maintain its current stance, or should international pressure shape our approach to LGBTQ+ rights? Let us now look on the possible financial system and banking challenges. Jamaica's economy is deeply connected to U.S. banks. However, Trump's emphasis on strict financial regulations could affect Jamaican banks' access to global financial markets, creating a costly hurdle for businesses and individuals. Trump's policies could result in de-risking and access restrictions. With more U.S. banks de-risking by ending relationships with Caribbean banks, Jamaican institutions might find it harder to conduct international transactions. This could lead to higher fees and reduced access to global markets, impacting everyone from small business owners to individuals trying to send remittances back home. If fees on remittances rise even by just $5 per transaction, over 1 million transactions could result in a $5 million additional annual cost for Jamaican families receiving these funds. Trump's policies could also affect the education, cultural exchanges, and opportunities for youth. Many Jamaican students rely on U.S. scholarships and exchange programs for educational opportunities. A reduction in funding for these programs could mean fewer chances for young Jamaicans to study in the U.S. This would have a direct impact on youth and workforce development. Scholarships and exchange programs provide not only education, but also valuable skills that students bring back to Jamaica. Reduced access could limit future opportunities and potentially slow workforce development in Jamaica. For example, fewer scholarships might mean fewer Jamaican doctors, engineers, or other skilled professionals, creating gaps in critical sectors of Jamaica's workforce. Another example to observe is the U.S. COVID-19 and public health policies and how they could affect Jamaica. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us how U.S. policies can impact global public health, and Trump's stance on pandemic response could affect Jamaica's preparedness and access to resources in future crises. There might also be limited health infrastructure support. If Trump prioritizes U.S. needs over international health initiatives, Jamaica might face challenges in accessing affordable vaccines and essential medical supplies. This would place additional pressure on Jamaica's healthcare system during a public health crisis. Let us now turn our attention to the potential consequences for Jamaica's economy. Amid global competition, Trump's goal of boosting U.S. exports could impact Jamaican goods that currently have a competitive edge in American markets. As a result, we might see tariff challenges and export competition. Jamaican coffee, rum, and other products could face new tariffs, making them less competitive in U.S. markets. American-made alternatives might rise, which would threaten Jamaica's traditional exports. A second Trump presidency could introduce new challenges for Jamaica, impacting trade, immigration, public health, and even social issues. As Jamaicans at home and abroad, it's important to stay informed and understand what these potential changes mean for our future. We want to hear from you. How do you think a Trump presidency could impact Jamaica? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates from Trendwave News TV. Finally, check out the description for links to products, resources, and more ways to support our channel. Thanks for watching, and stay informed.